Hello, friends. Are we ready to stomp out more vegan propaganda today? Good. Today we're going to look at Earthling Ed's latest keystone argument against having any concern for what the vegans refer to mockingly as crop deaths, which is not just the animals that are unintentionally run over, dismembered, and disemboweled by farm equipment, but also those animals that are intentionally killed by crop protection gunmen and poison petrochemical applicators. And of course, we can't leave out those non-target animals that we know are being genocided by the poisons of mainstream plant agriculture. Now, let's listen carefully to Earthling Ed's complete failure.
So in today's video, we're going to go through in detail the argument that has been made by Ted and others who say that animals have been killed during crop production. So let's start off really simply and say that yes, animals do die during crop production, but does that mean that vegans are responsible for more animals dying than non-vegans?
So notice here that Earthling Ed is striking back at a straw man. No one is saying that vegans are responsible for all the untold environmental destruction and animal torture and death associated with mainstream plant agriculture. Everyone can agree that mainstream plant agriculture is responsible for this environmental destruction and massive amount of animal torture and death. However, it's a fact that mainstream veganism does rely upon mainstream plant agriculture. So, yeah, vegans are responsible for their share of the animal torture and death associated with the vegan menu, despite their unwillingness to acknowledge said destruction, torture, and death. Let's continue.
Well, to start, let's look at Ted's argument in particular because he's talking about soy and the animals that are killed in the production of soy. Now, there's a big problem with Ted's argument, which is that, well, firstly, about 75 to 80% of all the soy that is produced around the world is given to the animal agriculture industries and used as animal feed.
Okay, so here Earthling Ed is trying to leave you with the impression that first the rainforests are cut down, then the soy is cultivated, then 75 to 80% of that soy is given directly to animal agriculture to grow the cows, the pigs, and the chickens. Earthling Ed is taking advantage of the fact that most people don't know that about 90% of all the soybeans grown in all the world are processed to squeeze out the oil. Earthling Ed also isn't telling you that 100% of that processed soybean oil is already being consumed by humans, even without a fascist vegan mandate in place. After the oil is removed, what's left over, the byproduct, which represents about 80% of each soybean by weight, is not fit for human consumption, and so it's fed to livestock as soy meal. Next clip.
In fact, only around 6% is used directly for human consumption.
Okay, so here he's saying that humans are directly eating only a tiny 6% of all cultivated soybeans. Of course, we know he's talking about products such as tofu, soy milk, tempeh, and edamame. What he doesn't tell you here is that livestock are eating 0% of cultivated soybeans directly, partly because feeding unprocessed soybeans is a dangerous endeavor for keepers of livestock, and it's much more profitable selling edamame for human consumption. Again, he carefully doesn't tell you that about 90% of all the world's soybeans are processed faux-dat oil, and humans are consuming 100% of that soybean oil. Next clip.
So straight away, if you're worried about animals being killed in the production of soy, then maybe you should stop supporting the industries that use 3/4 to 4/5 of all the soy that is produced.
See how he's portraying a falsehood here? He's still trying to convince you that soy is being grown specifically for livestock and fed directly, raw and whole, to livestock without any processing whatsoever. When, as I've repeatedly proven, almost 90% of all soybeans are processed faux-dat oil, and 100% of that oil is going to human consumption. Sorry, Earthling Ed, the facts on the ground don't match those claims made by you and your agenda. I suggest you stand down from the idiocy. Everyone else, Please stay tuned for future videos where I'll be surgically removing even more vegan propaganda from the visceral cavity of truth. And please like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.